Snake, whatever happens to you, make sure you leave a descendant, okay?
Are you saying you want to have my baby?
No. I'm saying that in the 21st century, the genes of soldiers like you are going to be in high demand.
Genes?
Uh-huh. Remember when Watson and Crick discovered the double helix structure of DNA back in 1953?
No.
You know, they won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for it the year before last. Of course, you have to feel sorry for Pauling and Franklin. They were researching the exact same thing.
Sorry, I don't follow.
Inside every living creature are little blueprints called genes. Through the union of the sperm and egg cells, these blueprints are transformed and inherited by the next generation. That's why parents and children resemble each other. The concept of genes was first proposed over 100 years ago by Mendel, but he didn't know what they were exactly. For a while, it was thought that chromosomes were composed not of deoxyribonucleic acid, but of proteins called polypeptides. Later, it was shown that deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, was a biological macromolecule. Then 11 years ago, Watson and Crick discovered that DNA had a double helix structure.
Yeah, this is all fascinating stuff, but what exactly does it have to do with me?
The inherent characteristics of any given individual are determined by his or her genes. By duplicating a set of superior genes, a separate body with the same set of characteristics, a clone, can be created.
But genes don't control a person's fate.
That's true, but having an offspring that's genetically identical to the parent is more efficient, right? You can expect better results that way.
More efficient? You can't mass-produce human beings.
Maybe, but now that we know the true nature of genes, human cloning is that much closer to reality. Nuclear transplanting is already theoretically possible, so one day...
My genes are going to be a valuable commodity.
Exactly.
They'd never let that happen.
Just think, even if your body dies, you survive and go on to bigger and better accomplishments. If you think about it, it's kind of an honor.
Does that kind of technology seriously appeal to you?
Well, I am a doctor. I can't condone it on moral grounds, but I'm fascinated by the possibilities. Especially when I see such an excellent specimen as yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks for the compliment, but it doesn't make me feel any better.
Don't be so glum. It's not like it's going to happen anytime soon. We'll just have to wait and see. Snake, have you ever seen The Alamo?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's a true story about a band of American volunteers holed up in a fort called the Alamo. They fight against the Mexican army for the freedom of Texas.
Remember the Alamo.
Now the Alamo is Los Alamos, the center of the atomic bomb project.
How ironic.
Snake, I looked at your medical record. You've been exposed to an atomic blast?
Yeah, the Bravo shot. It was a hydrogen bomb test conducted at Bikini Atoll on March 1st, 1954. I was at the American base on Kwajalein in the Marshall Islands when the ashes of death started falling from the sky.
Any symptoms?
None. At least, not yet. But a lot of the guys who were in it with me are now suffering from thyroid cancer and leukemia. Some of them are dead already. One of these days. Anyway, I'd better get back to the mission.
Yeah.
Snake, the fake death and revival pills we gave you are the latest in internal medicines developed for intelligence ops by the CIA's technology division. You can use the fake death pill to send yourself into a death-like state for a limited period of time. Use it wisely, and you should be able to fool the enemy into thinking you're really dead. It may come in handy if you ever find yourself cornered.
Interesting. But how does it work?
What do you mean?
I don't feel right taking some pill I don't know anything about. How does it make me look dead? How's it gonna affect my body?
Well, Snake, about that...
I get it. I should ask paramedic. Paramedic.
Allow me to explain. You know how there are animals in nature that play dead, like weevils, ladybugs, chickadees, possums, and the like? Well, the fake death pill takes the natural art of playing dead and applies it to the spy world. When you take the fake death pill, it causes your body to rapidly secrete a number of chemicals. Adenosine and serotonin, as well as opioid peptides, such as methionine and kephalin. Those chemicals act to induce a state of hibernation, causing your heart rate, your breathing rate, and your body temperature to drop dramatically. It'll truly look like you've dropped dead upon initial inspection. The revival pill, to put it simply, is a counteracting agent to the fake death pill. When you take it, it causes your body to secrete stimulants like noradrenaline and other chemicals such as naloxone, which block the effects of the fake death pill. Basically, it wakes you up. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and explain it in more detail. The secretion of methionine and enkephalin triggered by the fake death pill causes the opioid receptors.
Oh, okay. I think I get it now.
You sure?
Yeah.
But you must want to know a little bit more. There are 3 types of receptors: delta, kappa, and mu. Methionine and enkephalin acts on the...
Paramedic, I think Snake understands now. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah. Clear as crystal.
But...
Major, I've got enough info about the pills, so I'm going to get back to the mission now.
Yes, you do that.
Hey, wait a... Snake, you know the bridge on the River Kwai?
Haven't seen it.
It's about a group of Allied prisoners in Japanese-occupied Burma in World War II who worked together to build a bridge. Under the leadership of an English officer, the prisoners and the Japanese gradually bring the project toward completion. But at the same time, the Allied forces are hatching a plan to blow up the bridge.
War and futility go hand in hand.
I suppose so.
I didn't think you were the type to go for war movies, though.
Actually, this guy invited me to go see it with him.
A date?
I guess you could call it that.
Still, you just don't seem like the type.
Well, he seemed to like war movies. He was a Navy boy. I was still an intern back then. They brought him in with a broken leg. He said, "When I'm all healed up, will you go see a movie with me to celebrate? If it's okay." He was so shy.
Where is he now?
With the 7th Fleet.
I see. Why would a mushroom glow in the dark?
It's bioluminescent, just like a firefly. It uses the so-called luciferin-luciferase reaction. To put it simply, luciferin reacts with luciferase in the presence of magnesium 2+ ions, breaking it down into oxyluciferin and carbon dioxide. The carbonyl groups in the oxyluciferin are initially in an electrical excited state. When they return to their base state, they give off light. Did you get all that?
Not really.
Oh, Snake, have you ever seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No, I haven't.
It's about this town where one by one the people disappear and are replaced by someone else. It keeps getting worse and worse until finally the main character's friends and family start getting replaced. It turns out it was a giant plant thing producing human clones. Creepy, huh?
Clones?
A clone is a body or cell that's genetically identical to another one. They didn't use that term in the movie, though.
You mean a copy of a human being?
It's technologically feasible. We know it's possible to do it in theory, and they've already started the research. One day, maybe toward the beginning of the next century, the genes of super soldiers like you are going to be a hot commodity.
Just to make copies of me?
Precisely.
Like a thoroughbred horse?
Right.
Huh.
Hmm.
You know they'd never allow it.
Maybe, but technology changes people. We can't predict how people will think 50 years from now.
Some things shouldn't be changed.
We're not the ones who decide that. I think maybe the only thing we can do is to try and pass on our beliefs to our children, so that they won't head in the wrong direction. Snake, have you ever seen The Guns of Navarone?
Never.
It's about a mission to blow up the huge guns on the island of Navarone during World War II. 6 men are chosen to participate in the operation, each with his own special ability. They only have until an English destroyer passes by the island to complete their mission. Facing impossible odds, the 6 men have to sneak onto the island from a cliff on the southern shore.
That doesn't sound like something I'd want to watch in my free time.
Maybe not for you, but the Major was absolutely crazy about it.
The Major?
He told me to tell you how great it was.
Tell him I'll go see it as soon as I get back to the States.
Do you want to tell him yourself?
No, let's save that for later. I'd better get back to the mission.
Yeah. Snake, have you ever seen The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms?
Nope.
It's about this monster that comes to life from deep within a glacier as a result of an H-bomb test in the Arctic. It crosses the ocean and emerges in New York. I especially like the scene where the monster attacks the lighthouse, and the one where it pops out of a valley in Manhattan and makes a big hole in a building. And the last scene on the burning roller coaster was simply incredible. And because I saw it in a drive-in theater, I actually felt like I was a part of the movie. It's funny, isn't it? How you can let yourself get absorbed into these things without thinking even when you know it's not real?
Distinguishing between what's real and what's not isn't always as simple as we think.
Well, don't get too absorbed in your mission. It's important to take a rest every now and then.